The war hall of the Zithra Empire was a place where no human had ever stood without fear. But Commander Leon Hale walked inside with silent steps, even though his wrists were locked in glowing chains. His armor was burned, his helmet cracked, and dust covered his chest plate. Still, he moved like someone who refused to bow. Thousands of alien warriors filled the massive chamber. Their eyes glowed in different colors, showing anger, curiosity, and confusion. They whispered about the human who survived the battlefield explosion that should have killed an entire squad. Above them all stood Empress Zyra, ruler of 17 star systems. Her long cloak flowed behind her like living fire, and her silver crown shone under the blue lights. She was known to be cold, strict, and impossible to impress. Most humans believed she hated their species. But when Leon entered, something shifted in her sharp golden eyes. He did not shake. He did not look down. He stood tall, even in chains. "Bring him forward," Zyra ordered. 2 guards pushed Leon to the center of the hall. The Empress stepped down from her throne, her boots echoing like thunder. Her presence alone made even her strongest generals kneel. But the human didn't move. Her expression tightened. "Human, you stand in front of your Empress. Kneel." Leon simply lifted his head. "I don't kneel for anyone." Gasps spread through the audience. Many expected Zyra to strike him down instantly. Instead, she studied him quietly, as if trying to understand the strange human courage. Her voice softened, only slightly. "Then at least remove your helmet." Silence fell like ice. Every alien in the room froze. Removing a helmet before the Empress was a sacred demand, one that exposed weakness, identity, and soul. Humans were considered too plain, too fragile, too nothing. Leon didn't move at first. The room waited. The Empress stepped closer. "Remove it, human." Slowly, he raised his chained hands. There was a soft metallic click as he unlocked the visor. The cracked helmet lifted, revealing his face under the dim blue lights. And the Empress stopped breathing. Leon's face was calm, sharp, marked with quiet strength. His eyes were steady, not afraid, and held a warm fire that no alien could imitate. There was no fear, only dignity. Zyra felt her heart beat in a strange, unfamiliar way. This human was not weak. He was striking, almost radiant. The entire court sensed a surprise. A general whispered, "My Empress, why do you stare?" Zyra ignored him. She walked closer until she stood only a few feet from Leon. Her voice came out soft, almost shocked. "How can a human look like that?" Leon didn't reply. He simply met her eyes with the same calm strength that shook her whole empire. For the first time in her reign, Empress Zyra did not know what to say. And everyone understood one thing. This human, this face, had just changed the fate of the galaxy. The hall was still frozen in silence. Every alien waited for the Empress to speak, but Zyra kept her eyes on Leon, studying him like he was something she had never seen before. Her golden pupils shifted, searching his face for weakness, but finding none. Leon stood calmly, his helmet now hanging from one hand. Even without armor, even in chains, his presence felt stronger than before. It was as if removing the helmet had revealed something dangerous, something the Zithra Empire was not ready to face. A general finally stepped forward. "Empress, allow us to take him away. This human insulted you. He must be—" Zyra raised her hand sharply. The general froze mid-sentence. The Empress's voice echoed to the chamber, cold but strangely soft underneath. "No one touches him." The entire court gasped. Some guards exchanged confused looks. A few warriors whispered in disbelief. A human prisoner was supposed to be punished, not protected. Leon watched quietly, not sure what the Empress planned. Zyra turned to her royal guards. "Remove his chains." Even the guards hesitated. "Empress, a human with no restraints is dangerous." Zyra's eyes flashed. "Do as I command." They obeyed instantly. The glowing cuffs unlocked with crack. Leon rubbed his wrists, but his eyes never left the Empress. He did not thank her, did not smile. He simply stood ready, alert, and steady, like someone who expected nothing from anyone. This only made her curiosity stronger. One of the oldest advisors stepped forward. "Your Majesty, may I speak freely?" "Speak," she allowed. "This human should be executed. Your empire is watching. If you show softness toward his kind, it will be seen as weakness." For a moment, the whole hall thought Zyra would agree. Instead, she said, "Commander Leon Hale will be moved to the Imperial Wing." Shock hit the court like thunder. The Imperial Wing, her private domain. No prisoner had ever been allowed there. The advisor's voice cracked. "Empress, that is where your own guards need permission to enter." Zyra ignored him. Her words came out slow, steady, an impossible question. "He will stay under my protection until I decide otherwise." Every alien went silent. Leon felt the shift, thousands of eyes burning into him, some angry, some jealous, some terrified. But he didn't react. He didn't boast. He simply picked up his helmet and followed the guards. As they walked, the guards whispered behind him, "Why him? What did she see? Did she hesitate because of his face?" No, impossible. She never hesitates. But the truth was clear. The Empress had hesitated. When Leon reached the exit, he paused and looked back. Zyra was still watching him. Not with anger, not with hate, with interest, with confusion, and something close to awe. Her voice reached him across the quiet hall. "Human, do not make me regret this." Leon answered with the same calm strength that shook her earlier. "I won't." The court trembled at his confidence. No one knew it yet, but this single order, this one impossible act of mercy, had awakened enemies inside the palace. Enemies who would not allow a human to stand so close to their empress. And before the night ended, someone would try to kill him. The imperial wing of the Zithra Palace was nothing like the war hall. It was quiet, cold, and guarded by elite soldiers who never smiled. Every wall shimmered with silver light, and every doorway scanned Leon's body as he walked inside. Humans were never allowed here, not even as slaves. But tonight, a human walked freely. 2 royal guards escorted Leon to a private chamber. Their steps were stiff, their eyes full of distrust. One guard kept glancing at him like Leon was a bomb ready to explode. "You are lucky the Empress saw something in you," the guard muttered. Leon didn't answer. He didn't care about luck. He cared about surviving long enough to understand why the Empress spared him. Inside the chamber, the guards locked the door and walked away. Leon finally had a moment alone. He sat on the edge of the cold metal bed, holding his helmet in his hands. His fingers traced the cracks, the scars from the battlefield that started all of this. He breathed slowly. He listened, and in the silence he felt danger. Something was wrong. Leon stood up just as the lights flickered. A soft mechanical sound came from the ceiling. He knew that sound. He heard it many times on human warfields. A stealth drone. Someone was trying to kill him. Leon moved instantly. He grabbed the metal chair beside the bed and swung it upward just as a small black drone dropped from the ceiling vent. It fired a bolt of blue plasma, but Leon deflected it with the chair, sparks flying across the room. He ducked low, rolled across the floor, and reached the corner. Another drone appeared, its red eye blinking. This wasn't random. This was an assassination. Leon grabbed the broken chair leg and threw it with perfect aim. The metal rod struck the drone, knocking it off balance before it exploded against the wall. The first drone recovered and aimed again. Leon leaped forward, grabbed it midair, and slammed it into the ground. The machine sparked and died under his boot. The room went silent again. But Leon wasn't surprised. He expected this. He knew the Empress's decision would anger someone powerful, maybe many. A moment later, the door burst open. Empress Zyra herself stepped inside, her guard behind her. Her eyes widened when she saw the destroyed drones. "You were attacked," she said, her voice tight. Leon shrugged slightly. "I handled it." Her gaze moved from the metal fragments to his steady posture. No fear, no panic, only calm survival. One guard snapped, "Human, who helped you? Tell the truth." Leon answered simply, "No one." Zyra stepped closer, studying his face again, that same face that had stunned her earlier. But now, she saw something else. A human who should have died, but didn't. You fought trained assassin drones, she said quietly. Unarmed. Leon nodded. I've had worse days. The Empress inhaled slowly. Her golden eyes softened for a second she didn't notice, but every guard did, and that scared them more than Leon himself. Because the Empress was beginning to trust the human, and trust was more dangerous than any drone. The destroyed drones were removed from the chamber, but the tension left behind stayed in the air like thick smoke. Empress Zyra dismissed her guards and remained alone with Leon, something no alien ruler had ever done with a human. Leon stood calmly in the center of the room, still catching his breath after the attack. His cracked helmet rested on the table beside him. Zyra walked toward it, her eyes fixed on the strange mark etched into its surface. A symbol, a burn pattern, shaped almost like an ancient crest. She touched the mark lightly. This shouldn't exist anymore. Leon didn't answer. He knew exactly what she meant, but he had spent his whole life hiding it. Zyra turned to him. Human, remove your armor. Leon raised an eyebrow. Why? Her voice remained cold, but her eyes held sharp curiosity. I want to see what you're hiding. He hesitated, but slowly unlatched the burned chest plate. The armor dropped with a metallic thud, revealing a simple black undersuit and a glowing symbol across his collarbone. Zyra inhaled sharply. There it was, the same mark from the helmet, but this time alive, bright, and pulsing with faint energy. Impossible, she whispered. Your kind lost this ability thousands of years ago. Leon stayed silent. Zyra circled him slowly, studying every line of the mark. This is the sigil of the old human vanguard, warriors who fought even my ancestors. They were the only humans the Empire feared. Her voice grew softer, almost respectful. They were legends. Leon finally spoke. I'm not a legend, just a soldier. But she shook her head. No, this is not just a symbol. It's genetic. It only appears when the person carries the old bloodline. She stepped closer, her eyes locked on his. Why did you hide this? Because humans don't survive long when aliens know they have it. Zyra understood instantly. If her generals found out, they wouldn't just kill him, they would dissect him, use him, turn him into a weapon. Her gaze shifted from the glowing mark to a steady expression. You survived that battlefield explosion, she said slowly. Not because of luck, but because of this. Leon nodded once. Yes. And when you remove your helmet, I felt the energy before I saw your face. Leon didn't know what to say. He expected fear, anger, maybe disgust. But the Empress looked at him with something far more dangerous. Recognition. You are not an ordinary human, she said quietly. You are a relic my empire once feared and respected. Leon clenched his fists. If your people discover it, they'll kill me. Zyra stepped closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. No, they will not touch you. She looked into his eyes, steady and certain. You are under my protection now. Leon felt a strange warmth in her words, a promise he didn't expect. But outside the room, shadows moved. Someone had overheard their conversation. Someone who now knew the human carried forbidden power. And by sunrise, the entire palace would shake. The palace did not sleep that night. Whispers ran through the silver halls like cold wind. Guards tightened their patrols. Advisors argued behind closed doors. Something dangerous was forming in the shadows. Something aimed directly at the Empress and at the human she was protecting. Leon felt it too. He stood near the large window of his chamber, watching the alien city glow under 3 moons. Everything looked peaceful, but the silence felt wrong. It felt like the moment before a storm, and the storm arrived faster than expected. The doors of the throne hall slammed open. High Lord Varkos, one of the Empress's most powerful generals, stepped inside with fire in his eyes. A crowd of council members followed him. Empress Zyra, he announced loudly, we have learned the truth. Zyra sat straight on her throne, her expression cold as stone. What truth, Varkos? Varkos pointed at Leon, who had been brought into the hall moments earlier. That human carries a forbidden bloodline, the mark of the old human vanguard. The court erupted in noise. That bloodline is dangerous. He cannot stay inside the palace. Empress, you must destroy him before he destroys us. Leon stood still, calm but alert. Zyra raised one hand. Silence fell instantly. How did you learn this? She asked. Varkos smirked. Your guards talk too much, Empress. And your walls are not as soundproof as you think. The Empress's eyes darkened. Betrayal. Someone had listened from the shadows. Varkos stepped forward, voice booming. You broke tradition by protecting a human. You allowed him into your private wing. And now we learn he is a threat to the Empire. Zyra rose from her throne slowly, her cloak trailing like living flame. He is only a threat to those who fear him, she said. Varkos' jaw tightened. You are losing your judgment. Because of a face? Because of a human? The insult hit the hall like a slap. Several guards gasped. Leon watched Zyra carefully. Her eyes flashed with controlled anger. Not because of the insult to her, but because of the insult to him. Varkos continued. I accuse you, Empress Zyra, of emotional weakness. You hesitate before a human. You protect him. You hide his power. You endanger us all. He raised his arm dramatically. I demand your removal as Empress if you refuse to execute him. The hall exploded with tension. Guards reached for weapons. Council members shouted. Some bowed to Varkos, others stayed loyal to Zyra. Through the chaos, Leon said nothing. His calmness only made Varkos more furious. Zyra stepped down from her throne until she stood between Leon and the entire court. If you want to challenge me, she said softly, then come. Varkos' eyes burned with hatred. So be it. He lifted a small device and pressed it. A hidden explosive charge detonated in the upper balconies. A massive blast of blue fire crashed toward the Empress. Without thinking, Leon moved. He threw himself toward her, grabbed her by the waist, and pulled her behind the throne just as the explosion tore through the hall. Stones cracked. Metal screamed. Dust swallowed everything. When the smoke cleared, everyone saw it. Leon, coughing, burned half-conscious, covering the Empress with his own body, and Zyra staring up at him with wide, shaken eyes. She whispered, barely breathing, Human, you saved me. For the first time, the court saw emotion in her voice. And Varkos realized something terrifying. He had not destroyed their bond. He had strengthened it. The explosion left smoke drifting to the throne hall, but the shock was even heavier than the dust. Everyone stared in disbelief at the scene before them. Commander Leon Hale shielding Empress Zyra with his own body. A human had saved their ruler. Again, Zyra slowly pushed herself up, her eyes never leaving Leon. He was injured, burned across one arm, bruised on his side, but he was still standing, still ready to fight. She touched his shoulder gently, almost without thinking. No one has ever protected me like that, she whispered. Leon just nodded. I said I wouldn't make you regret saving me. His voice was steady, even as he struggled to breathe. Before she could speak, Varkos stepped forward, furious, dust clinging to his armor. You see, he shouted, he is dangerous. He survives blasts that should kill him. He has power your people do not understand. Zyra turned slowly toward him, and for the first time her expression wasn't cold. It was deadly. You tried to kill your Empress. Varkos raised his chin. I tried to save the Empire. By attacking me, she snapped. He pointed at Leon again. You cannot rule with a human at your side. But Zyra stepped in front of Leon, blocking Varkos' view completely. I already am, she said. The hall went silent. Zyra lifted her spear, its blade glowing like a star. Varkos, for betrayal and attempted assassination, you will face justice. Varkos roared and charged. Several guards rushed to stop him, but he was fast, faster than most aliens. His blade thrust straight toward the Empress. Leon moved first. He grabbed a broken metal pole from the ground and swung it with perfect timing. The clash echoed through the hall. Varkos stumbled back, shocked at the human strength. Leon didn't give him a second chance. He stepped forward, blocking another strike, then another. Despite his wounds, his movements were precise and fierce. This was not an ordinary soldier. This was a descendant of the old human vanguard. Finally, Leon twisted the pole and disarmed Varkos completely. The blade skidded across the floor. The general fell to his knees. The guards dragged him away as he screamed, "You will doom us all!" A human cannot stand beside an empress. But no one listened anymore. All eyes were on the human who had defeated a Zithran warlord. Zyra approached Leon slowly. Her voice trembled just slightly when she spoke. "You are extraordinary." Leon gave a tired half-smile. "I'm just human." "No," she said softly. "You are the first human who ever made me feel." Her words caught the entire court off guard. Even Leon blinked in surprise. Zyra continued. "When you removed your helmet, I saw something I never expected. But today, when you protected me again, I understood." She stepped closer, so close their breasts touched. "You stole my breath the moment I saw your face." Her eyes softened. "And today you took my heart." The hall remained silent. Every warrior witnessing something no one thought possible. A human and an empress, standing side by side, not as prisoner and ruler, but as equals. Zyra lifted her hand. "From this day forward, Commander Leon Hale stands under my protection and at my side." Gasps filled the chamber. Some feared the future. Some admired the courage. But one truth became clear. The Empress had chosen a human, and the galaxy would never be the same again.